my dears, and welcome back to my channel. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Pamela and I put out beauty related videos on Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. Today's video is sort of my favorites for like January/February. I didn't do a favorites for the month of January because I was so focused on my one palette for a week series that I just like completely forgot. So I figured I'd still do these favorites videos. I would just stick them in a little bit earlier in the month, make them sort of like a January, February, or 2-month type of deal thing. I hope that makes sense because I don't even know what I'm trying to say. So I've got no more babbling to do, so let's just get right into this. Yes! The first product I'm going to talk about is the LA Girl Pro Coverage High Definition Foundation. This foundation is so beautiful for dry skinned, like skin basically. I've been gravitating towards this versus anything else that I've got because everything else that I've got was meant for when I was super duper oily, which was last year, and this year something has completely changed in my skin. Like for some weird reason I am so dry. It looks beautiful on the skin. It's got the right amount of coverage for me, which is like a medium type of coverage. I never really recommend foundations on my channel because we are all so different when it comes to skin type, but for me this has worked really well as far as my dry skin this season. Okay, the next face product I want to talk about is the MILANI Illuminating Face Powder. This looks intimidating in the pan because I was intimidated when I first saw this, but when you swatch it you could literally see nothing. Like I'm gonna swatch it right here. It's barely anything. Like it's very illuminating in a way that it doesn't have those glittery specks in it. It's got such a finely milled like formula and it's so pretty. It's in the shade Amber Nectar, so it does have sort of that like peachy like tone to it, but it's so light that, like I said, I use it all over my face to set this foundation and it just adds to the luminosity on my face. So I absolutely love this powder. I've never heard anyone talk about it before, but overall if you're looking for extra dewy likeness to your skin, that's the way to go. I've got one highlighter I want to talk about, and I talked about this highlighter in my project pan. I've added it to my project pan, but I am really enjoying this. Like these two highlighters are beautiful and it doesn't matter which one I choose. Like both of them look stunning on my skin. So if you're similar skin tone like and you've had a BoxyCharm in the past, because this was a BoxyCharm product, dig it up. You're gonna love it. I had forgotten about how amazing this is. These powders are so beautiful. They are finely milled to perfection. They look so like sheen, like metallicness without any of that crazy glitter that some highlighters have. So this is like so perfect. I've got it all over my face today and it just makes me look extra glowy because it looks like I want to be like a disco ball right now. It just is like cherry on the top for that. Eyeshadow primer by Hard Candy. I've never spoken about this before on my channel because I wanted to get it like, I wanted to give it a good use before I said anything about it, and the only reason why I picked up this primer was because the Wet n Wild Photo Focus, which is my favorite eyeshadow primer at the drugstore, was out of stock or they just didn't have any at my local drugstore, so I decided to just go with it. I picked it up and I'm not mad about it. It's actually a really good primer. It's very much underrated. It's decent, so if they don't have the Photo Focus one, I totally recommend the Hard Candy one. It is such a nice like formula. It's very like soft and buttery and it doesn't like feel super duper sticky, which I kind of am starting to think that I like that in my primers because the Wet n Wild one got a little too sticky for me towards the end of its life. And I would try to set my eyeshadow primer with the Photo Focus one. It was so drying that the eyeshadow would sort of cling on to that primer and it would just cause like dry patches on my eyes. So I really like the fact that this is extra creamy and it isn't sticky at all, and it makes my eyeshadow, you know, last all day. So no complaints about this. If, like I said, they don't have one, I totally recommend the other. I've got a lip scrub here. I am a lip scrub junkie, you guys. Like, I love lip scrubs. I don't care if I just purchased one, like I will go and try another one right after. I don't know why, that's just who I am. But I recently picked up the e.l.f. one that comes in that like bullet form. I've got mine in the flavor Mint Maniac or whatever, and I only bought it because it was on clearance for like $1, so I was like, God, it's $1. And I actually really like it. The little sugar scrubs are not as like intense. I also like that after you're applying it, like as if you were a lipstick, the sugar dissolves and you're left with that like balmy like feel on your lips, so you don't even need to really moisturize afterwards, which is like lazy girl's paradise. The only like negative thing I have to say about it is if you know, roll out your bullet too far, it does get wiggly and it can break easily. But I make sure I just roll out my lip scrub like this far and then, you know, apply it, because I really don't want for it to break and fall on the floor and roll around in all the like baby crumbs that have been on my floor for quite some time. So, mint lip scrub from e.l.f. Very good. The next lip products I've got are the Anastasia Beverly Hills liquid lipsticks. I've got you know, these three. They came sort of in like a bundle or whatever, and honestly this is really all that you need. But anyway, this particular like formula is so good. Like, it is so good. I don't like liquid lipsticks. I've said it in many videos. There's only one formula that I've ever really liked, and it is the Wet n Wild liquid catsuits. But these, oh my goodness, these are so good. Even on these crustity crusts that I've got, it doesn't accentuate any of the lines in my lips, doesn't feel over drying. You can apply a lip balm underneath them and then glide them on, and oh my gosh, perfection. Like, this is, I'm not gonna lie, I think that this is better formula than the liquid catsuits, which is blasphemy for me because I love the Wet n Wild ones, but these are so good. I mean, these are high end, so they better be good, right? Could not recommend them enough. You would love them if you're into liquid lips. I've got two more things to talk about. The next thing is basically a tool, and it is the Coastal Scents BRCN06 fluffy brush. Basically like a classic blending brush, and oh girl, this brush is so nice. Like, it feels nice and soft and it's tightly packed, and I love the way that the brush is like, you know, set up. It's like fluffy and domey, and it's got that like MAC 217 like type of look, but there's way more bristles, so it's way fluffier, and it's so much easier to blend out your like crease color or the outer V colors. Like, it just works so well. I got this brush in that little mini Coastal Scents haul. I actually demoed it, and I used this entire brush to do an entire eye look, and so good. It is so good. It has become my everyday, and thank you so much, Madi from Makeup with Mariela, for recommending this brush. I'm even tempted to pick up maybe like 2 or 3 more of these because they're so good, and I'm absolutely in love with this brush. Totally 100% recommend it, and if I'm not mistaken, it is less than $4. Like, you can't go wrong with that. And the last thing I want to talk about is my really gross and dirty makeup sponge. This is the Sephora Pro like Tools blending sponge. I'm not exactly sure what it is that they've called it, but this sponge is so good, and I'm tempted to say that I like this sponge way better than the Real Techniques. Did you just gasp? Because I'm sure you just did. I've had a number of Real Techniques sponge, and I like that sponge. You know, no hate on that sponge, but this is just a tiny bit better. And you wanna know why? Because of this point. This point to get your concealer underneath your eye is fantastic. It also does a beautiful job at blending out the rest of your like makeup or your foundation or whatever. But as far as the concealer application, I love it because of this point. Overall, I love this sponge. If you ever like, you know, think about it or wanna like know if it's a really good sponge or not, in this girl's book, it is bomb. And that's all I've got for you guys today. So hopefully you enjoyed my favorites for the last like 2 months or month and a half or whatever. And if you did, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and spread my love for makeup, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.